Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness and Entertainment in Color, streaming live to talk to you about the Real Love Boat. I'm your host, Chantel Francis, with my amazing co host, Tamika Francis, up top. How are you doing today, Tamika?
Doing good. Ooh.
Doing good. Glad you're doing good. Also have Miss T Joy here to chat with us. How are you doing, Miss T Joy?
Wonderful. How are y'all?
Wonderful. Are you really wonderful after watching this episode?
Oh, well, this episode can't steal my joy today. I was able to sleep in. I didn't have any clients. Whew, I feel well rested.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. This episode's not going to steal your joy, and it should not. Now, I'm just kind of being a little bit like, watching it. It's okay. That's all it is. It's just okay.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like the structure of it personally. I don't know if it really lends to creating really long lasting friendship or relationships, and I don't know if the people that they're casting are that compelling, to be honest. And so I'm just kind of like, so what? Right?
It had potential, though. It
Yeah.
had potential. It had
Now,
potential.
I'm wondering if, like, season 1 of The Bachelor, what I was like this or not. I know it was 20 years ago, so it was still kind of innovative, like this concept. And so I definitely watched it the first season and continued watching ever since. But like, I'm wondering if it's just because I've seen so many shows that this is just not working.
Mm.
Well, we start the
I don't know. I mean, I just feel like I feel that it has the concept, and you know how you're talking about The Bachelor. The Bachelor is always 2 hours. And so half of the problem with the Love Boat is everything seems rushed. We don't get to see everyone's date. We don't get to see the conversations that everyone is having. So we don't get to get invested in their connection. And so maybe it needs to be 2 hours, but I'm sure it won't get 2 hours. But it needs to be something
I don't want
else
2
going
hours of
on.
this. I don't want 2 hours.
I know, because it's not. But what I'm saying is we're not seeing enough, so everything seems rushed, and it's not. It's just not making for a good flow of a show.
Yeah, I mean, it's a show about love, and I mean, I think that Daniel and Shaylin, they start off this episode with them having breakfast. They seem to be getting along with each other, and so that seems like a potential kind of relationship going on. And so right now, absolutely, they're the only couple that I think has any sort of potential. But other than that, like, everybody's kind of a dud.
But you know what? Maybe if Daniel and Shaylin had won and they had not gone in the wrong direction, I know I'm skipping ahead, and they actually had that key to go into the fantasy suite. Or I mean, I'm calling it fantasy suite, but I don't know what they called it on there. I can't remember. But if they had the ability to go in that room, then maybe it would have made the show a little better. You would have saw, more of a deeper connection. But unfortunately, the person who, I mean, he's not a virgin, but he's very slow, and 5 people, and
Well, it's
such a
like I
type
don't necessarily
situation.
need people to like go into the fantasy suite in order for it to be entertaining, but I kind of just think that this particular challenges episode, okay, like they're climbing up the Rock of Gibraltar, cool, but like you can't really tell what's going on. I thought the questions were interesting. I wish we stated the questions a little bit longer and had a conversation more about these questions, but that didn't really happen. And just seems like there's just stuff going on that I don't really care about.
I thought the challenge was good, actually. I think the payoff to the challenge sucked. Like, they should have made everybody open their locks. Because then we would have found out that
They were
Jordan
lying.
lied
Mm-hmm.
and see if anybody else lied. And then we would have those conversations. Well, why did you lie? What actually happened? Like,
Well,
they
and that's kind of why I have a little bit of a problem with the challenge, is because why was it easy for them to go off track?
I don't know what that was about. I don't feel like it was their
Yeah.
fault. There should have been somebody or some sign that said, where to go, and it kind
Right.
of felt like it was an on purpose kind of thing, because they were so far ahead of everybody else. But
Yeah, I didn't get
it
that.
felt like they didn't want them to win,
Uh-huh.
kind of thing.
Mm.
Right. And
Well,
I didn't get that. And also they didn't ask because the other couple was the first one to get there. What not Jordan and Nicole, but the other couple was the first one to get there and they couldn't get the lock open because Brent and Brooke, they were the last couple of those three to get there. Even though they opened their box first, they were the last of those three couples to get there.
Right, but
So
well, I mean, you
we
had to
didn't
put your numbers in a certain sequence. So if you like forgot an answer or digit, missed a digit, then yeah, that's why. I don't necessarily have a problem with that part of it, like because I mean it. Like you see it on the Challenge USA, people supposed to remember numbers and you forget the numbers in the sequence. That part, fine. What I say is the payoff to it, because we know people lied. There was no
That's
payoff
what I'm
because
saying, but maybe the reason why they weren't able to get it open is because they were lying. That's what I'm saying. We didn't
well,
explore
no,
that
but
part.
I think that what Tamika's saying is that the people that veered off course, so that was Daniel and Shaylin, and then also
Nicole
Jordan
and
and
Jordan.
Nicole. And so
Hmm.
Nicole and Jordan, or Jordan definitely lied in her thing, but we didn't see them come back to the rock. The winning couple was already announced, and they didn't have to try and open their lock. They just had to just accept the fact that they lost. So
Right.
Tamika was hoping that everybody would try their luck, even when the winner was already announced, is what she's
Right.
saying.
Right. No, I got that what she was saying, but I'm also saying those two, like, why didn't he ask them? Why weren't you all got here first? Why weren't you able to get your lock open? Because they could have been lying as well. That's what I'm saying. I get what she's
Who's
saying,
lying?
but
Who's lying? I'm not sure. I understand.
I don't know if we don't know if they were lying. All we know is that they
Who?
didn't get
Who?
theirs. The other two couples that got Brent and Brooke were the last of those three couples to get there. The three couples that did get there to the box, they were the last couple, but they were the ones that got theirs open first. So I'm wondering, why were they the ones that got theirs open first?
Because they told the truth.
So the other two were lying.
Either
Well, I
lying
don't
or
know,
forgot their
or
number.
they forgot. So that's what I'm saying. They probably had to give in their answers, right? And like one of them was like, try the digit under, because one of them even said, he's like, oh, maybe 3 or 4 times. So which one did you tell the
Producers.
into?
Right,
Did you
right,
tell
right,
them
right,
3, or did you tell them
right,
4? Which would make a difference in you trying to
Open the lock.
open
right,
the lock. And it's not that
right.
he lied. He might have just forgot what he told the
Producers.
producers.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyways, it was just faulty mechanics for this challenge, because I think that what it was supposed to do was stir up some interesting conversations about, because the questions that they're asked, we'll get to that in a second, were pretty personal. And, the fact that they lied about some of them, like, would
Mhm.
have been interesting, which I think is why they put them in there and made you have to get the correct number. And then, like you're saying, Tamika, we didn't actually get the payoff of seeing what happens if you don't get the lock open because you lied. Like, well, what did you lie
Right,
about? It's like, I want to know what you
right.
lied about, or if you just made a mistake. But I would like to have seen the conversation as to why they couldn't get the lock open. So agreed. But before we get to that actual challenge, we see the staff having a conversation. It's forced to me. I know that they're probably getting used to their roles. They're not actors. They're not used to delivering lines, most likely. And so it's very possible that they're not comfortable with having these staged conversations. But for me, it's not landing either.
I think I can agree with that. I don't know if it's maybe the lead conversations, because when I watch them on Instagram individually, they seem to have, which is probably why they picked them. They seem to have really good personalities in their genuine form. So instead of just allowing them maybe just to have a conversation of, what do you think about the couples right now? What, how do you think about like where they could go, and just leave it at that? I feel like maybe the producers are just like leading their conversations, and it's making it still like stilted. Because I love the conversations that they're like, even Ezra, like I've seen her talking to some of the Big Brother people. She seems very personable. So, but it didn't seem to translate in those conversations. And I don't think it's like she doesn't like her coworkers, because I saw a bunch of videos from the red carpet where they were all talking to each other, and it was fun and bright and everything. So
I definitely think it's because it's a little bit of a loose script that they need to follow. So they're probably like, okay, make sure you address like all the different people and like how you feel about them and who you want to put on dates and stuff like that. And so it's a little bit scripted, so they're not fully able to be themselves and engaging. But yeah, I'm just kind of finding it like, hopefully they'll settle in a little bit. But right now it's too bad acting for me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem natural. It doesn't seem real.
Right. Or maybe they don't like any of the couples and they're trying to find.
That's possible too. That is possible too. Like their real feelings would be like, yeah, this guy's a loser. This guy's a player. This guy, whatever, So we see the guys, like, I think they were working out, and Jordan, she's like, do you think the new girls are going to be pretty? I'm like, why did Nicole bring this man back?
To get left.
I guess so, because like he was a red flag all over the place. Last week she said that she thought that he was still a player, but she like thinks he's hot and she likes his tattoos or whatever. But there was a couple other people that she could have at least explored something with that wasn't going to be this guy. Like I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I will say, I will talk about it. I did like Kate with Kendra. The conversation was better, I feel like. But he's like, is he just going to dump her for somebody else prettier? Whatever.
Well, we do learn when they're working out that his type is usually blonde. So
yeah.
So yeah, and we remind him that he used
and Nicole's type is a bad boy with tattoos. So what we're seeing is they're each going for their type instead of going for personality, somebody that they hit it off with, they have a good conversation with. What they're reverting back to is their physical type, regardless of the connection they feel with someone else. So,
or regardless,
and that's
of
what
the,
gets them.
red
and that's what gets them in trouble. And that's what gets them in trouble because the type isn't working for them.
Well, I mean, to me, he's not good looking enough to be like saved on that boat last week. Like, I'm not attracted to him at all. And like, he's putting on this kind of, it's not really a black scent, but like, he's putting on some sort of like a bad. Do you know who used to do it? Kind of Isaiah from Love Island. He kind of would put on some sort of like, I'm a badass accent, and I'm like, I don't
black scent.
I said black scent, but it's not fully black scent, but it's kind of like that.
I watched TikTok. It's a black scent. You can tell he hangs around a lot of black people.
Yeah, but he's like kind of like being like like I don't know. I can't really do what he does, but like I don't like it because it's contrived and like it's he's just not working for me all over the place. So we see Brett and Brooke having a conversation about kids, and Brett really wants to have kids, and then we see though that Brooke doesn't really want to have kids. Like she's like, well, I want to be like in a relationship with my person for a couple of years and then maybe have kids, but I really would prefer to have a dog.
She said, like, dogs are calling me more than kids are calling me. And I was like, excuse me? And he paused and I paused. I was like, excuse me? What's going on?
Fine, have your own, like whatever, but like that's probably going to be a deal breaker for him because he said he wants 3, 4, or 5 kids even. And so he's really into this idea of family. And so for you not to recognize the fact that he wants 5 kids and you said a dog is calling me more than kids are, like, ugh, red flag.
Yeah.
Well, for the relationship anyways.
Was he really sick? I don't know.
I will get to that. I don't know.
I'm wondering if he got COVID, to be honest.
That's what my first initial thought was. But then I also thought, he's not the type that wants to hurt anybody's feelings. He's not interested in nobody on that boat.
Possibly.
I agree with you. I mean, both can be true. They could have been like, "Hey, do you want to like stick it out?" And he's like, "Well, you know what? I'll go home." So we hear a PA that they're to wear the workout gear and to meet up on the deck. We see. I enjoy our hosts here, Rebecca and Jerry. Like they are playing, in my opinion, like the role well, kind of being a little goofy, a little silly. She's kind of the straight pert man, and he's the, the gag is the bit's working here. Maybe they need to teach Wells about how to play a bit, because like it's working for them, and for Wells, like his bits are not working for me. So they're explaining to them that they're going to be as partners going up the Rock of Gibraltar, and there's going to be 3 stations where they're going to have to answer some personal questions about each other. Each question is going to have a number, and it's going to be numbers that correspond to what they've told producers in the past, and then they're going to use those numbers to open up a lock. So this is like, it's a good challenge, decent, but we didn't see the parts that make it interesting. Like enough of it anyways. So it gets her, they're supposed to learn about being honest and how to interact with the partner. Definitely though, if I was going up those steps, like they would see another side of me. Like, I don't know.
You know what? Maybe they should have had it so that when you answered the first question and you went to the second box, you had to put that number in to get the next one out, and then you could know right away if the person was lying. You see what I mean? Maybe that would have helped.
That would have been really great, because then, well, why isn't this working? Like, well, what's your number? Like, well, did you lie about it? Like, what's your real number? Right? And be like, well, we're not going to, unless you tell the truth, we're not going to be able to get to the next stage. That would totally fix it.
Right.
And that would have brought some drama.
Instant drama.
Instant drama. And like people would just get stuck at a question if the person didn't want to be truthful. Fine.
Right.
C-Joy, hired. Fix this damn show.
I mean, even Daniel and Shay's first question was just like, he was just like, whoa, like he wanted more information right then and there.
Right.
And it's like, you couldn't even ask, because it's like, okay, we got to go to the next one.
Right. Yeah. 2 girls, 2 guys, girl and a guy.
So they're going up over almost 600 steps. It's a 780-foot straight up. Have you guys ever done anything like this before?
I have climbed up to a waterfall in the Dominica. That was during my honeymoon. It was beautiful. It wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad hike. I probably would not do it again. But although I've been told I need to go hiking with a man, apparently that's a thing to do. I mean, so we'll see.
As an earth sign, it's something that I
do not play into those. That part is not me. I'm not a big nature person.
Me neither.
I mean, maybe getting into it. Anyways, you do you. I've also had an experience. I might have told the story before, but when I was living in Vancouver, I worked at doing a promo for, I think it was for Toyota, and we were done early, and we were up by the mountains in like near Whistler, and so. Or was it near? Anyways, we're near some mountains, and so they're like, "Oh my god, we should go climb the Chief." And I was like, "I don't want to climb the Chief. Like, come on, guys." And they're like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be so much fun. It's such a nice view." And I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't want to climb the Chief, but like, I'm gonna be a team player here and climb the Chief with these people." So basically, it was like these rock steps, and like the beginning was just rock steps, and I was already gassed and I see the sign. It says, "Smile, you're a quarter of the way there." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm so tired right now.
I would turn back a quarter of the I turn back.
I'm done.
I was not gonna turn back, but people are like trying to motivate me, like, "Come on, Chantal, you can do it." I was like, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear a word from you. Just leave me." So I just had like my head down, and I'm just going up these stairs. Like every time someone talked to me, I'd have like an exorcist moment, and like I did get all the way up to the Chief. And if I can find it quickly, I'll see if I can show you me at the top of the Chief. But I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was definitely, I felt accomplished after. It was definitely very, very high. And very like you had to like do like there's some ropes there we had to climb up. Like some parts were like kind of scary. Wow. Like if you fell, you'd be off that mountain.
Wow.
But yes, I did manage to do it. So at least I can say that I did, right? I can say that I did. I'm gonna find the picture for you though while we're doing this. So some of the questions that were asked. So how many threesomes have you had is what was one of Shaylin's question, and she said 1, and he wants to know more information. 99% of the time it's going to be 2 girls and 1 guy, like or usually I would say that's usually the configuration, but he wanted more information. Never
me
you
neither.
two men, or I ain't doing it. I'm good. Really? Or a couple, or another couple. Yeah, I wouldn't do it with
swinging. Like swinging.
Interesting.
No.
So, and then so what age did you lose your virginity? That's pretty standard question for these people to ask. I think who was it that it was Brett that got what he said 24, 22, 24? What did he say? He said something high and she was like, "Oh," or
Brett said 24.
No.
Brett said, yeah, Brett said 24.
Yeah.
And then someone else said 19. I don't remember who. Number of times you cheated. I was like,
Nathan. I think Nathan.
That was a hard question for some. And so Jordan says 4. How many times do you think he actually cheated?
How many
7?
relationships has he been in?
Has he like? I mean, I feel like it's more.
Maybe it was. Maybe 4 was the answer because maybe he's not in a relationship a lot. So maybe he doesn't call those situationships he was doing cheating.
Maybe.
Yeah, but you know that he probably told the producers, "Oh, I cheated like 10 times." You know what I mean? And exaggerated his number.
Right.
Well, she still wanted to hear more information because 4 is still quite a few. Like if you're in like a committed relationship to cheat 4 times, like why are you bothering being in a relationship? Like,
right.
Like there's no point. Just go be on your own and do what you want. How many times have you been skinny dipping? I didn't think that was a very hard question.
And her answer was 1. Oh, but the other girl, Alyssa, she said that she had cheated too, right? And Nathan was not happy about that.
That is true. That is true. When she said once.
Right.
Once. So, number of times you've been in love. Emily, pure heart is 0. Number of people that you've kissed on the first date. I think Shaylin said 25. I was like, I mean, kiss on the first date.
No. It was a guy that answered that question. Shaylin answered that question?
I thought so.
Oh.
Who was the guy?
Oh, I thought that Brett answered that question. But you know what? She did answer.
Both of them did, but I only remember her.
Yeah, she answered that question too because he was like, I want some kisses too.
But you know what? You're right. Marty also answered it, I think, because didn't Emily say, yeah, because he kissed me on the first date.
Yeah, yeah.
What am I writing here? Pairs of shoes? Who cares? They asked Nicole, but I guess it's just show that she's materialistic potentially. But she has 40. I think I have more than 40 pairs of shoes.
Me too.
Like I probably have 100. I wouldn't be surprised. And how many times you brush your teeth in a week? What's that question?
She said 9, twice on the weekend.
I mean, it's like it's going to be 7 plus. You know what I mean? Between 7 and probably 14, depending on what's going on.
Even if that's not what you do, it should be every day at least.
I definitely wash my teeth right when I wake up, and depending what I'm doing throughout the rest of the day, you might get a second brushing. You know what I mean? Wait. Well, that one. Wait, hold on. And I also brush it before I go to bed. So no, it's 14 every time. I do brush it in the morning and before I go to bed. So actually, the fact that he doesn't brush his teeth before he goes to bed, that is actually interesting.
He does it on the weekends.
But like, I hate the way my mouth tastes in the morning when I don't brush my teeth. Like, I have to brush it for extra longer if I don't brush it right before I fall asleep. Oh my God, I was thinking of like, that's a stupid question. But like, I literally brush my teeth at least twice a day. I was thinking showers. That's interesting. But 9? Interesting. Wait, does it?
Some people don't brush their teeth twice. Some people brush their teeth once a day. Some people brush their teeth twice a day, and some people brush their teeth after every meal. You know, it just depends.
I definitely do twice a day. I don't brush it after every meal. If I'm going to go out, like I'll brush it before I go out or put on lipstick. So maybe a third time, but I just thought I thought everybody just, because like when I was younger, I just was like, oh, you can brush your teeth before you go to sleep. Like it was just like, it's became a habit. So it's interesting. Do you agree, Samika, or no?
I don't know.
So those were all the questions that I wrote down. And then then I'm curious as to how Shaylin and Daniel actually went off into another direction. They went to the wrong way, and then Jordan and Nicole were following them. They kind of completely went off course. Like, how were there no signs? Like, what happened here?
I'm like, is this Amazing Race where you could get like there's no reason why you should be getting it.
Exactly. I was thinking like the challenge. Like, I don't know if you saw the season where what's her name? I forget her name. She just went in the wrong direction for the final, and she like lost it for her and Polly. So I don't know how that happened, but they ended up losing the race. And for the reason that we talked about, it sucked that they didn't get to respond to all their wrong questions because they didn't have to open their locks. But Brett and Brooke win this challenge. Do we care? How do we feel?
I was fine with them winning the challenge. It didn't like they were going anywhere. She didn't seem like she was compatible with him, and so he seemed like a nice guy, but she just did not seem like his girl. And so it's like, okay, they won, and he gets first pick. So my whole thing is he got first pick. So I was thinking maybe he would pick somebody else, but we never got there. And then it's so funny because the Instagram page and the Twitter page picked them for a connection of the night, and I was like, that's weird.
I didn't agree with that at all. But they are going to win dining at the captain's table and the opportunity to have that key to some more alone time. So Nicole does want to know a little bit more about why Jordan, the cheating thing, but he didn't really explain that. And then we find out that Nathan is so like adamant about the fact that he doesn't want to be with someone that's ever cheated. Like he doesn't like that's not something what he wants to do, which is fine. Like it could be a deal breaker, absolutely. But when we hear that it's just a kiss, that she kissed somebody like once and she's never done it again, like that's going to be a reason for you to not want to date them in the future. Like what do you guys think about that? Like would that be a deal breaker for you?
For me, cheating, probably.
No, and I didn't expect him to be
with somebody else.
Well, it was the way in which she cheated. It wasn't as though she slept with somebody else. So and she did not understand the way she explained it. She didn't understand the parameters of the relationship and what was allowed and when they were official and all that stuff. So, and she immediately told him. That is how she explained it. I don't know if that's how it happened, but if I was listening to her explanation, or if a guy was telling me that and I was listening to his explanation, that would not be a deal breaker for me.
I agree.
That type of what happened.
First off, things that happened in the past, like if you've learned from them and grown, like I do also want to give people the benefit of the doubt to have learned from any past mistakes that they've made. It wasn't like an affair. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that she completely misled that person and was doing something completely on the side that they didn't know about. Like it was a mistake of knowing boundaries, and she was open and honest about it. So I think it shows her character as to be somebody that if she did make a mistake, she would be open and say something to her partner. So I think that it shows a little bit of character personally. But to him, it was a deal breaker. Tamika, it's a deal breaker for you that she kissed somebody in a past relationship?
No, that wasn't a deal breaker. You said if somebody cheated. So if somebody cheated, it'd be a deal breaker. Even if it was a kiss, for me, I wouldn't be able to forget it.
I'm not talking
That
about in the
being said,
relationship. I meant when I said cheated as in a past relationship.
yeah, what I would have asked is what he asked. What was the context? And if that was the context I was getting, I would have just. But I don't. I to me, stuff that happened in past relationships don't have anything to do with me, unless you have a disease that I have to worry about.
Absolutely. And I don't even know if I would
Mhm.
really ask those questions because it's kind of none of my business, really. I mean, like you're saying, like unless it's a disease of some sort or like
Right.
something that you need to know for your
Yeah.
own health and safety,
Yeah.
fine. But I kind of I just think it's I don't know, it's a little bit
Like I don't
inappropriate.
ask body count. I don't give a fuck.
No, I don't want to
Like
know.
I don't care.
I don't want to feel jealous about somebody
Okay,
that's not in your
now,
life.
now, what about this? Okay, now what about this? What if you knew that the person that you were dating cheated in every single relationship that they had ever been in? Would that be a red flag for you? Would that cause you concern? Or you would still be like, get married like Cynthia Bailey and now begin a divorce? Would that be?
Don't think that I would enter into a relationship with someone that seemingly didn't prefer to have a committed relationship.
Right.
Like I would like it would be in a first date scenario, like not to be like, oh, your body count, like let me ask my boyfriend this. But if we're on a first date and it comes up like monogamy and he says, well, in every relationship I've ever been in, I've cheated, I'd be like, well, that I'm looking for monogamy. And if it's something that you are not comfortable with, I don't think that we're a good fit. So I don't think we'd get into a relationship point. Like I think that, yeah, that would be kiboshed. Why would you allow yourself to get into a relationship? I'm changed.
I would not, even if he was saying, but I've changed. That's no longer what I want to do. I know for sure, and I know myself now. Even if he told me all of those things, I still personally could not do it. I would be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, if I found out later on, that might be different. Like if I didn't know, like I didn't ask or I didn't like we didn't have that conversation beforehand, and we're in a relationship, and then I find that out, that'd be bad. I would make me lose trust for sure. So this was me after I climbed that mountain. I was so tired. I found the picture, top of the chief. I climbed the chief. And we didn't do the hard level. You
look like you still did not want to be talked to. You look like you still did not want to be talked to. Like, I have done it and I have climbed it, but still don't talk to me at least for 45 more minutes until I gather.
We have to go back down. And going back down is equally as hard because like you're on an incline, so you're stopping yourself from like falling forward. So going down was also hard. So we get a new single arriving, and it's Kendra. And what's going on? So many Canadians on this show, which, I mean, I like the fact that it's been open to Canadians, but it's just so random. So she's from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. That's East Coast Canada. She likes a bad boy. I was like, oh, okay, fine. You like a bad boy that's soft in the inside. She's blonde. She's nerdy. She likes video games and comics and stuff. She's very cute. What do you guys think about Kendra?
I liked her. I liked her personality. I think she's very cute. Like I said, I think her and Jordan have a little more things. They have more of a youthful vibe.
Yep. It's kind of like a high school relationship vibe for sure.
Yeah.
So we see Jordan just immediately pulls Kendra for a chat. He does like blondes. She likes tattoos and bad boys. So, you know, they're kind of like hit it off. They both love Nirvana. I was like, okay.
I'm saying they seem to have a lot in common.
We'll see how that goes, though. I feel like he doesn't have much substance, and I think that she would want a little bit more substance. But we'll see. That's just my opinion. I don't know him as a person. I've never spoken to him, but he seems a little bit vapid. for me. Kendra also talks to Nathan. Nathan says, I'm a foodie. Tamika, you're going to have to assess whether he's a foodie or not, considering his favorite foods are, or he likes pizza and chicken wings. Is he a foodie?
I just don't think
You say again?
that not a foodie makes. Sorry.
Exactly. The way
Like you can get that in any
Kendra's eyes
bar.
went up.
You can get that in any bar. There's no reason.
Exactly.
Strip club.
Hello. And the chicken wings in the strip club are usually bomb. Usually so bomb.
Yeah, why? I mean, I don't eat meat anymore, but like, why are chicken wings so good at the strip club?
I don't know, but it's like a running joke. Everyone knows like a running joke. It's a running joke that people put in orders of the chicken wings from the strip club. Like even in Atlanta, people be like, "Oh, you got to pick up some chicken wings from Magic City." Like even if they're not going in there, people order. I mean, it's always the
strip club.
Yes, it's always the chicken wings are always so good. I don't know.
Very funny, but I have heard this before, so you're not the first to have mentioned this. So I thought that was really funny, though. Are you talking to puppy?
I was telling Hayes, my puppy.
Your puppy. So we see Nicole and Daniel talking, and he says to her, like, would you still have picked me? And she's like, you're still my number one. I was like, that's pretty bold. I mean, it's still pretty early, so Shaylin doesn't have like full dibs on it. And, you know, it's a dating show right now, so exploring whatever. But I thought it was bold. It was bold.
Very.
Bold. We see Brooke and Brett over at the captain's table for dinner. I didn't write down what the captain said to them as their advice. All I wrote down is that it was too soon for Brett to use this fantasy suite key. He's just not that into it. Like, I don't see any passion between them. Like, I do feel as though maybe he likes her and thinks she's nice, and she thinks he's good looking, but I do not see them in a relationship at all. Matt, the cruise director, is talking to Daniel about Nicole, and so he's kind of saying, like, you know, you should kind of go for it. And if you have any thoughts about somebody, like, you don't want to have like a what if type thing. So, what do you think about that advice?
Was he thinking about her? She just expressed interest, okay. She expressed interest, and he literally said, physically, she would be somebody he would go for, which is okay. But I don't know if he was necessarily thinking about her.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like Bachelor in Paradise, because like even today, I was listening to Rodney's interview, and he was just kind of like, he didn't think about Jill in that way. And so it's kind of like, it's because they were like, oh, why didn't you pursue Jill? He's like, Jill's a great girl, like, but I didn't even know.
Think of her that way.
Yeah, it was like a thing. So it's kind of like,
and I think they were talking, yeah,
it's like you're pursuing somebody just because they express interest, but you weren't necessarily interested. Yes, yes, you're going out of your comfort zone, but if you're not really interested, shouldn't there be some sort of like interest in some way to pursue somebody?
You would hope.
There should be, Tamika, but a lot of times we're dealing with people who like their ego stroke. So if someone comes to them and like, you're my number one, you're still my number one. Like, I've been spending time with Jordan, but you're still my number one. He's the one that said, all of a sudden, I'm confused. He said that to the cruise director. So that's why he was like, oh, well, if you're confused, don't put all your eggs in one basket, explore, whatever. He didn't say, oh, she came and told me this, but I'm still really only concentrating on, you know, Shaylin. He was the one that was like, I'm confused because she is my type. And that's what happens. Somebody show a little interest in them and then just get blindsided.
Like heads turned because I'm curious if the grass is greener type of deal. And that could be an age thing though as well. You know, he's what, 24 and
26.
He's 26. Oh, and she's 29. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's still very young personally. And you don't need to be locked down in a monogamous relationship at that age, but I would assume that she might be more interested in that just by being a little bit older. So
How old's Nicole? I don't even
I
remember.
think she's 24.
So okay. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Nicole either.
Me neither.
Yeah, so
I don't care. I don't care. I only care about Shaylin, really.
Yeah, I really don't. I only care about Shaylin and Daniel. And I was just like, I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, you're the only couple that so I don't.
Yeah, definitely wasn't caring about much. So we see the crew chatting, and this was another kind of stilted conversation. And they're deciding that they're going to set up Jordan with Kendra for a facial date. Daniel with Nicole. I don't remember what they did. And then Shaylin and Nathan, because Shaylin is physical. And I'm like, there is no way on the planet Earth that Nathan was going to be attracted to Shaylin.
Thank you.
Like, out of every single woman that was still there, she would be the last woman, even though I think she's the most beautiful. Like, I don't see it. I don't know why they're trying. Like,
yeah,
this is really bad. So Daniel and Nicole have a little mini date. What did they do? Did they just talk? I can't remember.
They were at the pool. They were like at the pool or something. Like in a hot tub. I don't know, something.
Jordan and Kendra, they had a bit of a spa date. Whatever. They seem to get along, and I don't know.
To me, their date was better than Daniel and Nicole's, to be fair.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And just like you said, it wasn't even very conversational. But
well, it seems like I can't tell with him because he's kind of like he gets like a little bit of an attitude about certain things, but I don't know if he thinks he's flirting or he's like having banter or if he's actually just being an asshole. You know what I mean? I can't remember what it was. It'd be like, oh, what, you're putting that on me, or like I don't want like I don't know. He's not for me. And then basketball playing with Nathan and Shaylin. She was just like, I'd rather be on this date with Daniel. Like,
I felt as bad for her as I did for Brittany on her date. I was like, damn, poor Shaylin. She's like, where's Daniel?
Why am I here? Why am I here?
Why do I have to do this?
It's like they were like, okay, so we can't let her know Daniel's on a date with Nicole, so let's go.
Yeah. Let's distract her. Let's distract her so she won't know. Yeah.
Right.
So then we get to the pre-ceremony where the girls are chatting in one of the rooms and the boys are chatting, and we do hear Daniel say out loud what Nicole said about him being her number one, and Jordan looked like well, I got the rose, so like if she said that you're still my number one, like at that moment I was like,
that's still her fate.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think that there was any chance that he wasn't going to choose Kendra.
Oh yeah,
there was a slight chance. It was gone.
Yeah, I don't think after his couple conversations and dates with Kendra, he was ever gonna choose Nicole unless he felt really guilty. Because I personally don't think they had chemistry. She did not like him. To me, she just was trying to stay with him to see if Daniel would turn his head. But yeah, after that, it was dead on arrival. Dead on arrival.
Yep. So we get to before we get there, the girls get Ezra comes in to give them some news. Brett is unwell and will not be returning. Okay.
Yeah. We get no explanation of it.
That's so I don't understand. Like, there's so few casts right now. Don't they have another guy in the wings, like just waiting? Like, I just don't understand why.
Yeah, you saw him. Didn't you see him when he came?
Oh, right. Did I not write it? Oh yeah, that's at the end though. So then we're at the ceremony, the sail away ceremony or whatever it's called. There's 4 men and 6 women, and I'm like, that sucks. Like already, because like most of the men are already kind of with somebody, and now poor Brooke doesn't have a person, even like she's fighting with somebody that she never even spoke to. And so Marty, no surprise, chooses Emily. Daniel, no surprise, chooses Shaylin. Nathan, actually slightly surprised, chooses Alyssa. And because it doesn't say, I don't feel like he likes Alyssa at all, but whatever. And then Jordan chooses, no surprise at all, Kendra.
Mhm.
So left now is Nicole and Brooke.
Brooke.
And I do want to point out, Daniel said that he chose Shaylin because if he had chose Nicole, it was only physical, which tells us everything about that conversation that they had.
That's true. So they're both going to get a life preserver, and there is going to be a new passenger. His name is Dean. He's a model. He's 25. Do you guys think he's hot?
Not at all.
No.
Actually, he looked better in his old photos than he did there, and I was just like, even in his old photos, he didn't look good.
You didn't. You guys have not watched season 4 of Love Island UK, correct?
Nope.
No.
He looks like. Oh, do you watch Beverly Hills Housewives?
Yeah.
Which one? Oh,
Beverly Hills. Okay, so the guy that was dating Lisa Rinna's daughter, Ayal, he kind of looks like Ayal, if you know who's dating. I don't know which one of her daughters, Amelia, maybe.
I thought Amelia was dating Scott. Well, I know they had broke up.
No, then the other daughter, the other sister.
Okay.
Was dating Ayal for a long time, and she thought I think that they broke up since, but. Anyways, if you knew, you'd see. I think they look similar, but Ayal I think is cuter, and he has a British accent. This guy, I did not think was cute at all, but he gets to choose between Brooke and Nicole, who he wants, and he chooses, no surprise either, Nicole because of her dress, and she had like a skirt that had a really high slit. There you go.
Woo!
That was the episode.
But also, he could see that Brooke was much older than him.
I was going to say, I think it's because Brooke looked older. She looked more mature, and Nicole
she doesn't look young and fun.
No, even though I don't think Nicole is young and fun, from what I've seen so far, she definitely looked more youthful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure. Well, anything else that happened in this episode that you want to talk about?
Absolutely nothing.
Okay, great. So Tamika, I thought that I went and I switched it, and then I realized that I didn't end up pressing live, so I will have to send you this video later on. So thank you for doing this. Maybe we'll see if we can get it even shorter each week. We'll try to see if we can do a 20-minute recap of the show. So we'll just try to tighten it up. But still kind of fun talking about it with you guys, even though the show content isn't that fantastic. But what do you guys have going on that you want to share with anybody that is still watching this show? Do you have anything going on?
So my episode 2 of my podcast came out yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, the visual is on YouTube, and I took Chantel's advice and added it to Anchor. So I'm on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so check it out. It's called A Passionate Eclectic and a Retired Liar, or #A Pearl. And so check it out on those platforms. It's really fun. It's mostly, what I love to talk about. Talk about pop culture. We talk about pop culture, relationships, and pop culture in relation to relationships. And so I give you all the news and gossip over there as well. So
nice.
That's what I'm working on.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well, you guys, if you could subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment. How much are you enjoying the real love vote on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 means nah, I'll pass. There will not be a season 2, and 10 being this show needs to be renewed right away. All right, let us know what your thoughts are, and if I remember, I'll put up a poll so you guys can just easily click on an answer. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.